What up, people? Welcome to a super episode of the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and I wish Zack Snyder would just calm down.
I'm Gabby, and I'm feeling real super today.
I'm Colin, and I've kind of been reevaluating my feelings on Zack Snyder, but we don't have to talk about that. Anyway.
And I'm Demi, and today is not the day when we reviewed Zack Snyder's Justice League. No. Contrary to what you might think. Today, we're actually doing a fan cast.
We're doing set 2 of our Justice League fan cast.
For the record, we told you guys we were doing Young Avengers. That will be coming later, actually.
Yeah, because Justice League, we lied. It'd be like that. We lie. Justice League, the 4-hour cut.
I mean, no.
What?
We don't
saying
lie.
We lie. Like, no, honey, we don't.
I mean, we clearly do.
Not if we can help it.
We try not to.
All right, whatever. I'm gonna start rattling off the lies you people have told me in the past. Anyway, what was I saying? Justice League, 4 hours. It's out. It's coming out. This is why we're doing this. It seemed timely. This is set 2 of our Justice League DCEU fancast. So you're not going to see characters that are already in the DCU that are cast. We already did set 1. So there's certain characters that we're not going to do today because we did them already. So if you're wondering, why are they going for the third string Justice League team? That's
You're not
why.
wrong, though.
Yeah.
C-League.
Yeah. But
This is like they bring them in when like the team like Justice League is like winning like by a lot, you know.
yeah,
by, like, a
let
good
the
30
starters.
point.
Let the
Nah, this
starters
is
rest their
like
legs.
a bottle episode where the main Justice League is like trapped in space or something. We need to bring these people in.
And the guy that's like putting them out is like, I don't know, man. Good luck, guys.
All that to say, we love these characters. And if you love these characters, no disrespect. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, head over to YouTube because Demi is going to put pictures of all these people and these characters that you may have never heard of, so you'll know who we're talking about. Before we get into all that, please like and subscribe because my job just became full-time. And if we can monetize this podcast, then I can quit. Demi.
All right, guys, here are the rules of the game. Nobody's allowed to cast anybody from the DCEU unless you have a very, very good canonical reason that it can work, as we have seen previously.
Yep.
That's it. You guys are free to cast whoever you want. So are you guys ready? You guys want to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the first person on our list is Red Tornado, an android created by Professor Tio Morrow and possessed by the air elemental called Ulthun, which gives him his aerokinetic abilities. Initially created to defeat the Justice Society of America, the android's memories were lost when the Tornado champion, Ulthun's good side, took over and became Red Tornado. Dallas, who you got? You're first up.
All right. If that story sounds familiar, it's because it's very similar to Vision from Marvel. I don't remember which one came first. Usually, there's a lot of overlap because DC and Marvel have been ripping each other off for decades. Usually, DC did it first because, they're just older.
But sometimes Marvel did it first.
So I'm not going to say. Yeah, like Namor. But I'm not going to say which one came first. What I'm going to say is somebody biting. Anyway, Red Tornado is Alan Tudyk. Yes. And that is because I was watching iRobot and I was like, yo, this dude is a really good robot.
He was a great robot in Rogue One, too.
Boom. You dude, he's great. He's like, his voices are great. He's a good actor. Great actor. Yeah, him and Sonny, I was just like, yo, I think this dude should play more robots.
He plays all the Disney animal sidekicks now, so add robots to the list too, I guess.
Exactly. He's it's funny because his iRobot voice is like more human than I would expect for Red Tornado, because Red Tornado sounds like real robotic. But Alan Tudyk's great. He can do anything. If he wants to up the robot, he can up the robot. So boom, Alan Tudyk.
Woo. Colin, you're next.
Oh, so I am. All right. Red Tornado. I have seen him in glimpses of Young Justice, maybe? Like
Yes,
when I was
Young
walking through the
Justice.
living room and Dallas was watching it. He's a robot. That's about all I know about him.
He's red.
You know what? That is something else I know. You are so right. God, what would I do without you?
Who knows?
All right. I would die. Anyway, my pick for Red Tornado is, where the fuck is this man? Oh yeah, Zack McGowan. Who?
Ooh, interesting one.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know what else he's known for, but I know him for playing Charles Vane on Black Sails, which I have gotten back into?
He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a second there as well.
Oh, I think we talked about that when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Still got that luxurious hair.
Ooh, he's like, yeah, great hair.
Plus, he has. I actually have never heard his voice outside of. I mean, I have on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't remember it, but I'm just going with the Black Sails sort of like gravelly voice, and I feel like that'd be really good for a robot,
It'll be really interesting.
or at least different for a robot. Because like you can go like full robot, which is kind of boring, or you can go like Robot Man, which is like Brendan Fraser but slightly modified, very slightly.
Yes, very
I feel
slightly.
like Zach McGowan is somewhere in the middle, and I like that.
Gabby, what you got?
Okay, so I was like, this dude is basically Vision, right? So I wanted somebody that had. So I wanted somebody that had like a really great English accent that could work, or like somebody with a great voice. And I wanted to go English. Somebody whose like voice I wouldn't mind hearing in like a car commercial or like as a GPS or something. And somebody that's also like very tall and kind of imposing. So I settled with Peter Serafinowicz, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy very briefly. He was the guy that goes, what a bunch of a-holes.
That dude
He
has
was
a great
also,
voice.
yeah, he was also the sommelier in John Wick 2.
John Wick. Yeah.
So yeah, so I picked Peter Serafinowicz mostly because of his height and voice. I know he's a good actor, so he could definitely play Red Tornado. And that's that.
He's in Sing.
Is
He's
he the
credited
dad?
as Big Daddy. So there's that. Yes, he's the gorilla. He's Taron Egerton's father.
Wild.
And that's where I realized, like, oh, this dude has a really great voice.
Yeah, that's mostly why I picked him. I was going to put him as a different character, and then I read up a little bit more on Red Tornado, and I was like, no, he's Red Tornado. So,
Colin,
yeah.
Me.
what do you think of Big Daddy Red Tornado?
What do you want me to say? I haven't seen Sing, and Red Tornado just looks like a robot.
Well, Sing is a
Have you
lovely
seen
time,
anything?
for the record.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I don't know if you'd like it, but it's fun. It's a good time. Musical. He's also in
Animals.
Spy. Remember Gabby? Aldo?
Yeah, he is.
This dude's great.
He's just great. So I feel like he would make a great Red Tornado. To me?
Cool. Demi.
Cool. So my choice for Red Tornado is Daniel Gillies, who is most well known probably for The Vampire Diaries and the originals. He played Elijah Michelson. I chose him, one, because he's a great actor. He was always really great to watch as Elijah. And also, again, it's partially like a voice thing. Daniel Gillies as Elijah just had this he was very articulate, and he was always very precise with his words. He enunciated almost everything, and there was something very nice and smooth about his voice when he would speak as Elijah. There was something about him that just felt really classy and elegant. And I felt like if you took the voice that he used for Elijah and took like more of the emotion out of it, made him more robotic, I thought it would work really well. And like I said, Daniel Gillies is already a really great actor. Who knows? Maybe he would look good in red. I don't know, but perhaps he would.
Speaking of Red, in case you need another like image of who this dude is, he's in Spider-Man 2.
What?
He's Jameson's son. He's the one that Mary Jane leaves at the altar.
Sounds like something Daniel Gillies would do.
And then Jameson is like, tell them not to open the caviar.
I also think it would just be really funny. He also actually played a version of Mr. Wickham in a version of Pride and Prejudice, the Indian version, Bride and Prejudice, which is very interesting to watch. And as soon as he popped up as Wickham, I was like, Daniel Gillies, what are you doing here? Listen, the man has range, but also it would be really interesting as well to watch him play like this robot and then to see him offset because he likes making a lot of inappropriate jokes and stuff like that. He's kind of a joker. So it was always really fun to watch him go from playing Elijah, who is very straight-laced, to being himself, which is not quite so straight-laced at all. But yeah, moving on to our next character, which is Ray Palmer, aka Adam the Mighty Mite, who can shrink to incredible sizes while retaining his full mass. A brilliant physicist, Ray created his shrinking tech from a white dwarf star fragment and uses it to fight crime and explore the universe on a frontier unknown to any other man. Yes, we know it sounds like Ant-Man. Who you got, Dallas?
I was thinking Osmosis Jones, but all right.
You were thinking Osmosis Jones?
Yeah.
Osmosis Jones, really?
It's like Ant-Man, but better.
I don't know,
I
man.
guess.
Paul Rudd's pretty great. And I haven't seen Osmosis Jones since I was a kid, so I can't argue about where they're
You're going to
Yeah.
tell me the Ant-Man is better than Ozzy and Drix? Okay.
I watch
Oh,
That
my
show was
movie.
awesome, by the way.
Rix in there.
I'm not saying the
and it's
show, I mean the
different.
characters
Yeah, it
really, but
was.
you
That,
know.
that movie was great too. Wild, but great.
Anyway,
Yeah, DC's Ant-Man. I picked Mark Ruffalo.
Oh,
And the reason
interesting.
I picked Mark
All
Ruffalo
right.
is because he's a scientist. I've just been watching this dude play Bruce Banner for
A decade.
what, 13 years now? No, because he was
like 8,
Not
9
even
years,
since
almost.
since
It was the other
2012.
guy.
8 years.
yeah. I forgot that he wasn't
2012.
the OG. But yeah, he's the better one, and he's very good at it. He's a charming science nerd, and I was like, yeah, I just want Adam to be a charming science nerd. I was thinking about doing this thing where I just get the DC characters cast as like their Marvel counterparts.
that would be really good.
Yeah, I didn't want to do Michael Douglas, and I honestly like I love Paul Rudd, but this isn't the role for him.
I agree.
Yeah, so Mark Ruffalo, and he's also just a really good actor. He's so good. Colin,
Hey Jimmy, isn't this the one you don't like?
We'll get to that later.
Cool. It is. So this was, I guess, the first one I cast because it's not following the same trend as all my other ones. So that's nice. My choice is James Marsden, who,
do
fun
love-
fact, I always confuse with the other one.
Jason Marsden.
No, actually. Maybe. No. Who's Spike?
James
Spike.
Marsters.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I always confuse them. And then I remember, no, James Marsden is the hot one and Marsters is the other one.
I mean, plenty of women everywhere think that Marsters is also very hot.
They are entitled to that opinion, but
He's
anyway.
Spike. Spike is
Dang,
hot.
Colin, let the man live.
Yeah, I've seen Spike. I don't know what they're talking about.
Goodness gracious. Colin
Even
just
when
gotta
we're
take
not, I
shots
mean,
at people.
there's the vampire thing, which obviously doesn't make you look good because they're anyway. James Marsden, he's fun.
He's great and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Westworld, which I hated, but he was delightful. I think he's in the Sonic movie.
He
and
is
he
in
was
the
really
Sonic
fun
movie.
in that. Yeah, that movie in general was really fun. And I should watch it again.
He's Cyclops in X-Men.
Oh my god, look at that man.
He
Yeah,
was everywhere.
I mean, he be doing a lot, and he's delightful, and I'd like to see him grow or shrink or whatever the fuck. I don't know, man. Yeah, I said it, Dallas. Don't look at me like that.
Mm-hmm. You'd like to see him grow. Anything else?
Jesus Christ.
Gabby,
No.
who's your Osmosis Jones?
Okay, so I was like, who is somebody that's like an actor that I really like that I feel like should have probably played a superhero by now? And I landed at Alexander Skarsgård.
Ha, he's gonna pop up again later.
Oh, is he great? Yeah, so I just felt like, he's been in so much, but I haven't seen him in anything superhero related. So, and Ray Palmer / Adam felt like a character that could be embodied by a lot of people. I think Alexander Skarsgård could play a scientist, so that's why I picked him.
Well, I mean, his dad did.
Yeah, see, it's
Is
possible.
he Tarzan?
Yes.
See,
Okay.
True Blood, and that's
For a
about
second,
it.
I thought you were
That's-
asking about Stellan, and I was like, no, I don't think he's that Tarzan.
I don't know. Dude been acting for a while. He could have played Tarzan at some point.
Fair.
There's a
yeah,
lot of
although
Tarzan
apparently
movies.
the movie that brought him like international fame was Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I just picked Alexander Skarsgård. I didn't try to overthink that one, mostly because I was like, I didn't really know what to do with that character very much. The other ones I had a little bit more like an instant kind of like, oh, I could put this person there, but not so much Adam. So I don't have that much to say about him.
Word. To me.
Okay, yeah. So Ray Palmer. Let's talk about that. Colin is not incorrect. I do have a slight disdain for this character because of the way that Arrow portrayed him. And I never watched Legends of Tomorrow, so there was no way of rehabbing his image to me. But we're not going to go too deep into detail on that.
Also, can I say something about that?
What?
I just want to say, I don't want to let the CW TV shows be the primary influence for any of these characters,
Exactly.
because that's just not where you need to go for your
Right.
best portrayal of DC characters.
So I will say this. I have no attachment or detachment for that matter to the comic book version of this character. It's only the Arrow version that I have any sort of relationship to,
Right.
and I hate him. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like when you have that sort of that feeling towards a character, when you're trying to fan cast them and trying to get that image out of your head, you have to find a way to do that. And my way of doing that was going as far away from a white guy as possible. So
I get that.
That's fair.
I was like, I'm not going to choose a white man to play this character. I'm going to choose somebody else of a different ethnicity, and you start from there and build out from there. So I chose Daniel Day Kim because Daniel Day Kim is
That's
awesome.
great. He's awesome.
This was also based off of the fact that I've watched Raya and the Last Dragon about 4 times at this point. And at the point that we are
Well,
now
you good?
I watched I've watched it 4 times at this moment in time that we are recording. Who knows how many times I'll have watched it by the time this actually releases. But
Oh God.
he was so great in that movie, and just you can feel how likable he is. And no offense to Brandon Routh. I think Brandon Routh is a likable guy. However, he has also played several characters that I hate. So on site, it's almost like you're a freaking villain. But like, he seems like a really nice guy.
On site.
I'm about to throw hands with a man for his talent.
Listen, he played a villain on Chuck, and he played the absolute worst. Okay. So like when I see him now, I'm just like, you hurt Sarah, my guy. But anyway, totally different story.
He was also evil ex-boyfriend number 3.
See?
Yeah, I was
See?
gonna say, but he was like the worst and the best because that
Yeah,
was
his
amazing.
character,
So
that, whole,
good.
that whole part was like
So
my favorite
good.
part of the movie.
He was great.
See, a villain. But no, Daniel Day Kim just seems like he just comes off as such a likable person. Even when he's doing voice acting in Raya and the Last Dragon. So I think it would be cool to watch him play a scientist who can shrink and do all sorts of cool things. And yeah, he's just a great actor. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. Like, I said his name, and Gabby and Dallas were both like, "Ooh, I think that's enough. I feel enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I made a good choice here." So I chose Daniel Day Kim to
Yeah, that's
play
a great place for him.
Ray Palmer, aka Adam.
He also played a scientist in Legend of Korra.
I keep forgetting he was on that show.
Yeah, he's Asami's dad.
Oh
He's-
man,
yeah, he's Asami's father. Yeah. See, there you go. It's perfect. It's perfect. This time he won't be a villain.
Yeah.
It's okay. Asami needed some drama in her life anyway. All right. Next up on our list is Mari McCabe, aka Vixen, a businesswoman and model who uses the Tantu totem to fight crime with the power of animal mimicry, which is one of my favorite superpowers. After years away from home, Mari returned to Africa and stole the totem from her murderous uncle. Dallas, who you got?
Halle Berry. Halle
Of
Berry.
course. Okay.
Nice.
Yes. So, John Wick 3 showed us that she's still a badass. She always has been. And also, Vixen is a model, like canonically. So, her being just straight up beautiful is like part of her character. And Halle Berry been gorgeous since before we were born. That's literally why there's a song called Halle Berry that I was singing when I started this. She's just like, you know, you need a super pretty black woman. Your mind usually goes to Halle Berry since the 90s. She's dope. Halle Berry. Colin.
Nice.
Who your Vixen?
So, animal mimicry. Does she and Cheetah ever like somehow cross over and
I'm sure
hang
they
out?
do at some point.
Because like
They
that
probably
feels
fight.
like they would vibe
I mean,
in a really
Cheetah's
weird, yiffy
bad.
way. Yeah, but like they'd get each other, you know?
maybe.
For the record, I feel like I need to clarify. Vixen does not turn into animals.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, she just like uses their.
She mimics their
Ability?
abilities.
Yeah, so like she can become as strong as a gorilla or as fast as a cheetah, but she ain't
Oh,
gotta
then they
get all-
absolutely need to like race or something.
Oh
Yeah,
Like
she
that
ain't gotta get
Flash
all
and
yiffy.
Superman race. They need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my pick for Vixen is Jessica Parker Kennedy.
I knew you were gonna
'Cause
do
we're
that.
back on that train.
I knew it.
Who else was I gonna pick?
Well, it was just so funny
I made sure
because
she was black, and I went with it.
when you said that you chose people who were on the show that you're currently watching, and then I looked at the list and I was like Mari, and I was like, wait, there's only one black woman on Black Sails, and just
Technically, there is a second one, but I don't think she's ever been named.
oh wait, no, there's another one who comes in season 4, the last season, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Good for her.
yeah, her and
I'll
Silver
get
have
there.
a
I'm on
thing.
season 3 right now. Oh, good for her. Maybe good for him. I don't know.
Jessica Parker Kennedy is amazing. I've been a fan of hers since I was in high school when she did one episode of Smallville.
Damn. All right, you go deep.
She did an episode of Smallville called
yeah.
Plastique, and it's in season 5 or 7. I think she's in multiple episodes, so there might be 1 in 5 and there might be 1 in 7. Who knows?
She's
God.
also been on Supergirl and The Flash, so she is about that DC life.
She
Damn,
is.
okay.
She plays the Flash and Iris's daughter.
Girl likes her genre fiction, I tell
Nora.
you what.
She does, and she's so great at it.
Yeah, she is great. I mean, Black Sails, like, she carries a lot of that show. Like, everybody on that show is great, but, like, damn,
Max, man.
she good. Plus, I want to hear her not doing a ridiculous accent, because her accent on that show is ridiculous.
What's funny is you watch her in anything
Like
else other than
ridiculous?
Black Sails, she does not have an accent.
Love that for her, honestly, I do. But, yeah, she's great. She could be super heroic. Obviously, she can, because she's been in DC shit. Like, she's about that life, so keep getting that bag.
She's played a DC villain and a DC hero, so maybe we'll just get her on the big screen as another DC hero.
She's experienced.
She is indeed. She's got the resume for it, guys.
Woo.
Oh, I guess that means it's Gabby's turn.
So it is.
It is. It's my turn. So this is based off of recently having watched Coming to America and also watching The Old Guard. My pick is Kiki Lane because
Kiki.
she can kick ass.
My pick was Kiki Lane until last night, and I put her somewhere else.
But you know what? Great, because
Great minds, buddy.
no
Great
repeats.
minds.
Yes. I was like, Kiki Lane can kick ass, and she's already played like an African like princess. So, yeah, that's why I picked her. I was like, who have I seen recently that kicks butt? Kiki Lane.
Yeah, I had her as Mari until last night, and I moved her to a different DC hero. But that's really funny. Yeah, I definitely had her on my list because she was like the first person that came to mind. And I was like, I don't know if I want her for Mari though. And then I found somebody else on our DC list, and I was like, yeah, I like that better. So instead,
Yeah.
we're going to make that segue. And instead, I chose Kylie Bunbury, who is probably most well... God, is she most well known for? She's been in a lot of stuff. There was a show called Twisted. She was in a miniseries about King Tut. She's currently on a show on ABC called Big Sky, and she was in When They See Us. She is...
Was she also in Pitch?
Yeah, she was the lead character in Pitch.
Also,
Yes, Dallas.
Oh, okay, I know who she is.
also, she's Lamorne's wife in Game Night.
Oh,
Oh,
I've never seen
The one
that
who
movie.
thought that she slept with Denzel Washington.
okay, we got to watch Game Night because it's
Oh
amazing.
my god, it's so good.
It's
But
so
yeah, she's
good.
on that.
That is Kylie Bunbury. She's amazing. Clearly, she has range because I forgot she's even in Game Night. She's just a great actress. I've been a fan of her since I saw her in Twisted a few years ago. It's more than a few. But yeah, she's just wonderful. She's gorgeous, so obviously she can be a model. I don't know. She comes across as being tall. I'm not sure if she is tall, but she comes across as tall on screen. I don't know if it's because they just keep putting her around very short people, which is common for Hollywood, but that probably means that she's tall. So it works out. I feel like she could probably rock the short haircut that Vixen has. And I just think she would make a really cool superhero. It was one of those things, like Gabby said earlier, where you were trying to think of a hero that you're trying to think of an actor who hasn't done a superhero movie yet, but like would be really good in one. And I really think that Kylie Bunbury would actually be really great in a superhero movie. So I'm really glad to have found a spot for her. I think she'd make a great Vixen. And eventually you guys will find out where I put Kiki Lane. All right.
Okay.
2 things.
Yeah.
One, according to Google, she's 5'8". So
yeah,
you know.
I just
pretty
Googled it too.
Not bad.
And also, one more thing about Vixen is that since I watched Justice League and Justice League Unlimited growing up, I ship her with Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. And in my Green Lantern Fancast, I picked Sterling K. Brown, who is in his mid-40s. So I don't want anybody super young for Vixen
Fair.
because my Jon Stewart is in his mid-40s and Halle Berry is very grown. So I didn't have to worry about that.
If I went by that ship, which I mean I'm not going to, I don't have any ships in relation to either of them because the only Vixen I know are the 2 that are in the Arrowverse on DC, on the
Right.
CW. But if I did that, I think I had Trevante Rhodes for Jon Stewart.
think
So
you did.
yeah, him and Kylie are around the same age. So that works. That's cool.
That works out.
I'm down for that. That would be a good looking couple. All right, guys, moving on to our next character, Michael John Carter, aka Booster Gold, a time-traveling superhero from the 25th century who uses high-tech equipment to fight crime. After a stint in jail for gambling, he decided to start over by traveling back to the 20th century to become a superhero. Dallas, who you got?
So I went in a different direction than like what I guess most people would know of the character, but it doesn't matter because most people don't know the character. I picked Brad Pitt.
You know what? I thought about it. Not gonna lie.
Did you?
I did.
Really? I thought I was just like, all right, cool.
No,
Thought it was
blonde
unique, but
hottie.
that's
I was like, yeah, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just crushing Dallas's dreams.
That's good. I like vibing with Demi,
We vibe. Yeah, me and Dallas tend to vibe.
especially on the superhero stuff. We're like,
Yeah.
we're on a wavelength. Like you said, blonde hottie, Brad Pitt. Also, he can play a goofball and a badass.
Yeah.
And this role kind of calls for both because if you've seen Booster Gold in most things, he's the goofball of the team.
Yep.
Because he kind of just stole a bunch of superhero equipment and then went to the past so he could be a superhero. So he's kind of a
cheating.
superhero, but he's also just like a guy who stole some stuff.
He's just cheating.
Yeah. So I've seen Brad Pitt be super silly. I've seen him be super badass. I've seen him do both. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of like blends that line, even though that movie's way too long. But he was the best part about it. And also, since he's older, I think him being past the age of like a superhero's prime could kind of add to the character because I feel like Booster kind of has that imposter syndrome. He's like, all these real superheroes and I'm kind of just here. But what better way to add to that than to make him like pushing 60, which doesn't work as well because Zack Snyder cast like older people to be his Justice League.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It worked in my head.
Is Brad Pitt pushing
And he's a great
60?
actor, so I think he's like 57.
Let me look.
What?
But yeah, I think Dallas is right.
That man looks amazing.
He's like the Halle Berry of white men.
Yeah, he's 57.
What?
Yeah, he's
I mean, dude's been in the game for a long
I
time.
know, but I was
Yes,
thinking
he's
he
been
was.
acting since.
yeah.
I thought he was early 50s, not late 50s.
I mean, that's only a few
Surprise.
years difference.
But like,
Mofo
he's
is
closer to
pushing
60 than he is to
60.
50.
Yep,
Yeah.
he is. That is correct.
That man is what?
Wild.
he's kinda
I didn't think
aging
he was
like-
that old either.
He's aging like George Clooney, where it's nice.
And Halle Berry.
It's like a fine wine. Anything else you want to say about Brad Pitt?
No, you got it.
All right, cool.
He ages well. He's cool. He's white.
Colin, what you got?
Jesus. Alrighty. So my Booster Gold, which is such a weird name. It makes him sound like a tradable card game.
It does.
My Booster Gold is Toby Schmitz, who again follows my train. I have only ever seen in Black Sails, where he plays Jack Rackham, and he's super fucking great. Also,
He's
like,
pretty great.
from what I understand, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle like have this sort of comedic thing going on,
They're homies.
and Toby Schmitz can like bring the comedy when he needs to. Also, just I love him. He's great, and I want to see him in more things because Jack Rackham is like one of my favorite parts of Black Sails because man, that show gets dark sometimes, and then he's there to be less dark, and it's nice.
That works out.
So I was doing this thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, like, for the actors who weren't as well known for the audience, probably, I was like, you might know them from this. He was in Spider-Man. He
I
was
don't
in
care
Game
what
Night.
they know them
He was in
from.
The Flash. I got nothing. I don't know who this man is. I'm looking at his Wikipedia.
Sorry to this man.
Apologies to this man.
Other than Black
Yeah.
Sails,
Right. And I'm just gonna attribute it to him being Australian. I'm guessing most of his stuff is probably.
Yeah, no one
In
knows
Australia.
anybody from Australia.
What's funny is I'm about to go, oh, he's in Bloom?
I don't know
Oh,
no
man,
Australian.
I've been meaning to watch that show. But Bloom is also an Australian TV show, so I don't expect any of you guys to know what that is.
That's my point. See, that's what I'm saying.
I
I'm
know
not
what
saying
Bloom
you can't be
is.
famous
Australia-
from Australia.
Isn't some like tiny backwater no one's ever heard of. It's
No,
a
no.
gigantic fucking continent. Like
it is, but
their
they
stuff
don't.
comes out of Australia.
Yeah, but we don't watch a lot of their TV. Well, you guys probably don't watch a lot of their TV shows and movies. I've watched a decent amount of Australian movies and
Yeah.
television shows throughout my life, and
Like
I
what-
continue to because I like Australian actors.
Yeah, what I'm saying that somehow Colin doesn't understand is that a lot of his work was probably done and made and distributed in Australia,
Yep,
which contributes to me having not seen it.
like Bloom, for instance.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I listened to a podcast, The Weekly Planet. Shout out to them, and they're Australian, and they talk about stuff that obviously they talk about American stuff because they cover media, but then they talk about stuff out there, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what this is.
Do they talk about Neighbours?
I don't know if they've talked about Neighbours, but I've heard of Neighbours. Maybe
Yeah, that's
from you.
because every Australian actor basically starts on Neighbours.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's like your test before you go off to America and try and make it big.
Yeah, shout out to Neighbours.
All right, Gabby, who you got?
Gabby.
Who do I have? Okay, this is strictly off of the photo of him that I saw on the Wikipedia page.
I like it.
Lord Jesus.
Alexander
I love
Ludwig,
this.
because
I love him.
wasn't he Angel? Yeah,
I like that
didn't
guy.
he play Angel in like that X-Men
No.
movie?
No,
That was not him. That was
Whoops.
Ben Foster.
Well, okay. Wait,
No.
no, in the
Oh, you're talking about the new one?
Yeah.
Also not him.
Whoops. Oh well, that person that plays Angel reminded me of Alexander Ludwig, and that's who I pictured as Booster Gold. I was like, yes, him.
Let me help out because Gabby doesn't know who Alexander Ludwig is, but I do. Alexander Ludwig played a small
Yeah.
role in The Hunger Games. He was one of the career tributes. He also has played on the TV show Vikings, where he played one of my favorite characters, Bjorn. He's awesome. He plays Catherine Winnick's son. He's about to be in a wrestling show with Stephen Amell. He has done quite a bit, and he's really great,
He was
especially
in Return.
and he's also in
also
Bad
in
Boys
a-
for Life. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There
he
it
was
is.
also in Return to Witch Mountain when we were kids.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
got him confused with the guy that plays Angel. But it just reminded me of him so much for some reason. I have to find out who that guy was. in
That guy's name
one
is Ben Hardy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But yeah, Alexander Ludwig's great. I love him mainly because I was a huge Vikings fan, and I need to go back to watching Vikings. I need to catch up and finish the show.
Yo, Gabby, thank you for matching my energy on this one.
I love you so much, Colin.
Love you too.
We got a good balance. We got two people who know what they're talking about and two people who are just,
I'm just along for the ride, man.
I
I
want to
mean,
say
even-
just trying their best,
Yes.
but I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah,
Gabby might be.
even if I don't
She
know,
said she just
though.
looked up the dude and went off a picture and then cast
What?
somebody because
That
of
is
a
my
role he never played.
energy.
I thought it was him. It's like
You could have just looked up who played the
Okay,
character.
see, here's
But-
the thing.
but it
The
looks
problem
more
with that,
like
Gabby,
Alex-
you were on Wikipedia. His filmography is on Wikipedia.
No, I wasn't on Alexander Ludwig. I went on Booster Gold's Wikipedia to do research on Booster Gold.
Ah.
And his image, for some reason, reminded me of like Angel's 80s role from that one X-Men movie. And then I just thought for some reason that was Alexander Ludwig. I completely forgot who the real actor was. And I was like, you know what? He's tall, he's big. Like he has the hair. Like I know he has that blonde hair that kind of like sticks upward. I've seen it before. So him.
Yeah, I
Love
mean,
you so
If you
much.
guys could
disconnect was I
see
didn't
Dallas's
look up who
face
played
right
Angel.
now.
I just was like Alexander Ludwig.
I'm just thinking of like how easy it would have been for her to be like, who plays Angel in that movie? Let me type it on the website I'm already on. But
No,
Alexander is really dope, so it's
yeah,
not a
I
bad
know.
pick.
That's why I was like,
just-
I'll go with him. He played Angel, right?
You just kind of accidentally got there.
That's so funny. Alexander
know
is
it
very
fits.
dope. All right. Alexander Ludwig will be coming back in another DC fan cast because I have him somewhere else.
I think I have him somewhere. I'm not sure.
He's great. He's just like a big dude. He could play a superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, he played a Viking, so played a Lothbrok. All right, I guess that means it's my turn.
It is.
My choice for Booster Gold is Alexander Skarsgård. Alexander Skarsgård is an amazing actor who you probably recognize from True Blood or The Legend of Tarzan or Big Little Lies or a number of other things that this man has done. Yeah, he's just a great actor. He has so much range. So he can do just about anything. I would love to see Alexander do I mean, we were talking about the fact that Booster Gold is a little bit more comedic because he's a bit more of a screw up than most superheroes. So I would be interested to see Alexander play somebody who is a bit more comedic. I feel like most of his roles that I've ever seen, he's playing a really serious dude or the heartthrob or both at the same time. And I like both of those things. But yeah, I would love to see Alexander do something a little bit more comedic. And he's just amazing. And he's, part of the Skarsgård, like what? There's like 3 of them. Skarsgård trio,
Yeah.
which is funny because one of those trio is actually on Vikings with Alexander Ludwig, taking it all the way back. That is my choice for Booster Gold, Alexander Skarsgård. He's got the blonde hair. He can gain the muscles. And he's got, like Dallas said, he's kind of older. Not as old as Brad Pitt, but he's getting older. He's like in his 40s, I think. So, the last character on our list is Ted Cord, the second Blue Beetle who carried on the legacy of his mentor, Dan Garrett. One of the world's most brilliant people, Ted turned to science and martial arts when he couldn't activate the Blue Beetle scarab. He later goes on to mentor Jaime Reyes to continue the Blue Beetle legacy. Dallas, who you got?
I want to go back to something you said earlier when I brought up Brad Pitt. You said he's aging like who?
Like fine wine.
Do you remember?
No, like George Clooney,
Oh,
Halle
George
Berry.
it is.
Clooney. Oh,
Yes.
Nice.
George Clooney is my Ted Cord.
Oh, nice.
So when I got to these characters, I cast them together as a group. I was looking for actors who are friends with each other.
Oh.
And I came across a bunch of people I didn't want. And then I got to Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And I was like, I could definitely see Brad Pitt being Booster Gold. And George Clooney works very well for Ted Cord. I feel like Ted Cord is a character that kind of comes with, in my head, he's always come with a certain age because he's usually introduced as already being a mentor to a younger character. Like, I always see Jaime Reyes and then they're talking about Ted Cord. Like, oh yeah, he was my mentor. He's dead now. Or something like that. I don't know. But
Or sometimes it's just Ted Cord being a very funny mentor.
yeah. And George Clooney can do that. Yeah, I was like, I want someone older who can be at the age where they're ready to pass the torch. I want someone who's friends with Brad Pitt. George Clooney fits all of that. And I was recently listening to Smart List, the podcast. Thank you, Gabby, for putting me on. And they had George Clooney on there. And dude is so funny and so charming.
I haven't listened to it yet.
And I feel like I'm finally seeing what everyone else has been seeing for like the last 40 years about George Clooney. Because I never disliked him or anything, but he was just like,
He's George Clooney.
He can act. He white. George Clooney. But like listening to him speak, I was like, yo, he's a really, really charming dude. So it worked out. I had already cast him before that, but it just added to it.
Fun story.
So yeah.
I actually snuck
fun story.
George Clooney into our job, into our theater. And he said hi to me in passing as he was coming in. So that's my fun story about. It's actually a much more fun story if I get to tell the whole thing, but we don't have time for that right now. But it's a story that I love telling people because the reveal at the end of the story that it's George Clooney makes people just go, I'm sorry, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. But he's also a very nice guy.
Nice.
Because we live in Pasadena.
I did that for Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
He was also a nice guy. We met in the elevator. That was cool. And then I did it for Jake Gyllenhaal, and that nigga did not make eye contact with us.
I saw Chadwick Boseman run up some stairs like he was being chased once.
Oh, he sprinted out the building. Rest in peace, Chadwick. We love you.
And I met Ewan McGregor outside the theater. So
yes, this is that section of the podcast.
Wow, I've only seen one famous person at ArcLight ever. Actually, no, just kidding. I saw Ray Romano and also who's the director of Knocked Up?
Judd Apatow?
Yeah, I also saw Judd Apatow there. Actually, so I've seen 3 famous people there.
Yeah, they be out there.
We're naming off a list. I didn't even finish off my personal list. Like we could go on for a while longer, but we shouldn't.
Yeah, it's a list for another episode that will probably never happen.
Hilarious. Can you imagine an episode that's just us talking about the famous people that we've seen or met at ArcLight?
Honestly, I said it would never happen, but I kind of want to do it.
I never saw Terry Crews.
You never saw Terry Crews?
No, I know he was there. I'm sure he was there when I was there, but I just never caught sight
You
of him.
never saw him?
Terry
I've
Crews
seen him
lives in
multiple
town,
times.
too, so it's not like we're never gonna see him.
I literally only ever saw him at ArcLight. So
The whole time I worked there. The whole time.
the whole
Oh
time.
my god. I kind of want to do this episode now.
I feel like we should. I only have 3, but the rest of you are gonna have a great time.
Yeah, and I got a really funny story about Terry Crews in our lobby.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Audience,
Colin.
let us know if you want us to do this episode. We're gonna do it anyway.
Wow, I
Colin.
completely forgot we were still doing this.
Ted Cord.
It'll be a top 5 list. Top 5 stories of famous people you've met at
Yes.
ArcLight.
I like
Can
it.
I
yeah.
count the woman who got the free sample pretzel? She's famous in my book.
Yes. She's number 1.
Right, anyway, we need to get back on track. God, I love that story so much. So Ted Cord is a dude. I went from Booster Golds like DC wiki page to Ted Kord, and I was like, yeah, couple of whites. So I wanted somebody who could also be funny, and I was going from the cast of Black Sails because that's what I was doing. So I picked Luke Arnold,
Hey.
who plays Silver, John Silver, on Black Sails, and is really good at being serious and also being very funny when he needs to be.
He's also very attractive.
Maybe he's been in other shit. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. He doesn't really do a lot for me, but I get it. He's one of those I can look at him and go, yeah, not my type, but yeah, got that dashing, like he could convince you to, you know,
a dashing ruffian.
throw it all away. Yes, exactly. Which is exactly what he needs to be, so it works.
A scruffy looking nerf herder.
Which, okay, what is a nerf in Star Wars? Because I always think of the guns, and I'm like, how do you hurt those?
I feel like it's probably like a sheep type thing.
Yeah, but isn't that like what a bantha's for?
I mean, yeah, but we use that for a different bad word.
Bantha, they're the things, they look kind of like big old rams. They're shaggy, they have big horns. You would know one if you saw it, probably, even if you didn't know the name.
I think I've heard the name.
Leia's not from Tatooine. Leia's
okay, this is not the subject. Anyway.
Everybody knows what a bantha is in Star Wars, though.
I just assumed that nerf herder was a racial slur. I don't think.
A nerf is an animal in the Star Wars universe, and a nerf herder is basically like a shepherd.
Okay.
Basically, calling Rolf from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Ed boy. So remember Colin's last dude, I think, when I was talking about Australian
He hadn't
people
been anything that you have seen or could recommend? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so apologies to this man. I got nothing for you.
See, now I have to go look him up to see if I would recognize anything else outside of, because I could for Toby.
Just restart Black Sails, my dude.
I'm planning to. It's going to be a thing.
Didn't you also never finish it?
I got through season 4, and I didn't finish season 4. I think I was 2 episodes away from finishing it, and I just dropped it. Oh, he was on Lethal Weapon for like an episode or so. He's also on MacGyver.
Oh, you know what else? He was in a movie with Stephanie Beatriz called Half Magic.
Ooh, cool. I should look that up.
Nice. He's also on the other Australian soap opera that you have to start out on, Home and Away.
Ah, Home and Away.
It's Neighbours or Home and Away. If you don't start out on those 2 shows, I don't know how you became famous.
It's like the SVU or Law and Order of Australia. Famous in America was on those shows.
It's true.
Oh man, Luke Arnold's great though. He is really great as John Silver. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Gabby, who you got?
Who I got? Okay, so I figured that Blue Beetle's supposed to be a little bit more like comedic, and I was like, who do I like that is just like really great at comedy, but I know has a more serious side, but like is mostly known for like their comedic acting. And I settled on Alan Tudyk.
Hey,
yeah, I feel like Alan Tudyk could really dance. I mean, he did it like expertly. I feel like on why am I blanking on the name of this show? Firefly. He did it super well on Firefly. I mean, we all know he's hilarious. So I feel like Blue Beetle would be great for Alan Tudyk. He's also on the older end of the actor spectrum. So he could theoretically be somebody's mentor. So yeah, that was why Alan Tudyk was my pick.
He's also someone who's been in a lot of DC stuff.
True.
Like he played Mr. Nobody on Doom Patrol. He played Joker and Clayface in Harley Quinn. He voiced Superman in Justice League War, which is a super dope movie. And to be honest, the way that they should have started the DCEU, since they didn't want to give anybody movies first, they could have just did that movie. But whatever.
I want to say he also plays Green Arrow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The man is prolific. He probably did.
He is.
Yes, Alan Tudyk does play Oliver Queen, as well as Simon and Captain Cold, and plays a number of roles.
Dude got range.
Young Justice.
He does.
All right, Alan Tudyk, he's dope. To me, who's your Ted Kord?
Cool. We are going to finish off this episode with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Interesting.
Oh.
I love Freddie Prinze Jr. He is fantastic. I've been watching him since the 90s. I don't know. I thought it would be interesting. I know that Jaime is obviously Latino, and that's a big deal. But I thought it would be cool if not only Jaime was Latino, but if his mentor was also Latino. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is Latino. He's kind of white passing. You probably would never know if you by just looking at him. Perhaps him being white passing also just adds a certain layer and element onto it, whereas Jaime does not pass, Ted does. Also, I kind of begged Dallas to put Blue Beetle on this list because he put Booster Gold, and I was like, you can't do Booster Gold without Blue Beetle. Like, what? They're a team. They're a partnership. You can't do that. That's wrong. Yeah, so I obviously had to find somebody who I thought would go great alongside Alexander Skarsgård, who was of similar age. They were both born in the same year, so it works perfectly. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is really good at playing mentor characters. He did so on Star Wars Rebels when he played Kanan, and he was amazing as Kanan. And Freddie Prinze Jr. just in general is a pretty funny dude and is a really, really big nerd. So I think he would really love to do something like this. And I just think it would be cool. And then maybe, just maybe, his wife, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the awesomeness, can show up for like a cameo or something. I don't know, but I'm here for it. Give her a role somewhere. I don't care, but she's dope, just like her husband.
Yeah.
My choice for Ted Kord is Freddie Prinze Jr. Very talented dude. He's currently on Peacock's Punky Brewster reboot. So if you guys want to check him out there, but he's also amazing on Star Wars Rebels. So one of the best Jedi.
I was gonna say I didn't know dude was Latino until like a few years ago because he's super white passing.
He
I
is,
think
But,
he's, like, Puerto Rican.
According to Wikipedia, his grandmother's Puerto Rican. Yeah.
but yeah. Also, he had a spinoff from the George Lopez show.
Was he
He
on the
did.
George Lopez show?
Yeah, he was on the George Lopez show as a character, and then I think they spun it off and gave him his own show called Freddie, which was on for like a season. I think Chloe Bridges was on that show for a while. I loved that show. Like I said, I've been watching him since like the 90s. Since She's All That. I grew up in a house with teenagers, so I knew who Freddie Prinze Jr. was very well.
Yeah, that's crazy because I can't count the amount of times. That...
No, it wasn't
what's
a
up?
spin-off. They crossed over.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna say I never saw that man on George Lopez show, and I woke up on the couch countless nights after falling asleep to the George Lopez music.
Well, no, okay, so it crossed over with the George Lopez show, but it was still a George Lopez episode.
Yeah. I
So
just
he
missed that
technically-
episode.
Yeah, he technically was
Yeah,
on
he
the
was
show.
on the show.
But yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr., awesome, and has just done so much work in his life.
The
So give him a
low
superhero. He'd
vibe
probably love it.
is a little higher. Sorry, I was thinking about the George Lopez music. So what's that show? Every night at like 2:30 in the morning. Anyway, that has been the Fancast. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of that. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io, as always, for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. To me, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube, being the other person here who likes DC characters so I can vibe with you on that.
Even if I don't really know them, just doing the research to actually, cast them.
Yeah, putting in the effort. Thank you, Gabby, for vibing with me on Alan Tudyk and for vibing with Colin on not knowing these characters at all.
Not even a little bit.
I love that
you
for
know.
us, honestly.
Not really trying to. Colin, thank you for shouting out Ozzy and Drix because that's a reference I never thought I'd hear on this podcast. Took me back. Audience, back to you. What'd you think of our fan cast? Who would you cast in these roles? Do you even know who these characters are? Do you also wish Zack Snyder would calm down? Let us know the answer to all these questions on the medias. You can find us on Twitter, y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast, and Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you do know these characters and want to talk to me about them, because I really like DC stuff, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You can find me, Gabby, on the Instagrams at Stegosaurus.
Special note, if you mention Joker with Jesus' Crown of Thorns, it will be on site with Dallas. Anyway, You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us. Tune in again next time when we will be giving our review for Snyder's Justice League cut.
More accurately, we'll all be talking about how long we lasted watching it and then giving our opinion. And I just want to say this. I ain't got no beef with Zack Snyder aside from the Joker Jesus. We had a fight about that. But like, as far as he goes making movies, I don't really mind it. I don't think this movie is going to be bad. But the fact that a movie exists that is 4 hours.
And 1 minute.
4 hours and 1 minute. Thank you, Colin.
And 28 seconds.
Which
And-
I only
man.
want that to be recognized because you know that there's going to probably be after credits.
I don't know.
So-
He might not do that.
I don't know.
You
I
know it's
just-
going to be some sort of Jesus shit.
I don't want to watch the whole movie because it's 4 hours and 1 minute. I want to stop at like whatever the length of Endgame
Hour.
is.
3 hours.
Yeah. I'd be like, all right, bro, that's all you're getting out of me. You're not getting me more time out of me than Endgame did. But I'll probably watch it because I'm a completionist and I can't drop everything like Gina Carano. Call back. All right, y'all, it's been different. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.